Hi, welcome to the Holyoke Tarot. I'm Liam, and today I have a reading for you. Pick a card reading. There's going to be 3 piles, and this is a timeless reading, so whenever you find it is when you're meant to find it. So our first pile is going to be the Waite Tarot deck. That's just a little like reddish stone. And then the True Witch, True Heart Tarot. That's got a bone. And the Modern Witch deck, and that's sorry, that didn't show that very well. There, and then that's just like this little coconut ring thing. And yeah, so feel free to pause the video here and pick a card, pick a pile, I mean. Or you can watch the whole thing and see what resonates for you. So yeah, let's get into it. This is our rock. It's not a lava rock. It's like red. I don't know what it is. I keep saying that I need to go get some more. I have like other stones that I've found in my yard that I just need to use. I don't necessarily know the names of them, but that's okay. I can still use them, so I need to just remember to do that next reading. And then I think the next few days I'll be doing the month ahead for the elemental signs. So for earth, air, water, and fire. I don't do them in that order, but for May, those will be coming out the next few days, so get those out too. Alright, what messages do we have for our pile 1? What messages do we have? What messages do we have for pile 1? Had family in town. My parents have been in town visiting us, which has been really nice. But I have not been doing videos because of that, but they are not here for the morning, so I'm sneaking one in. Let's see, maybe this deck usually is very forthcoming. What's going on? Like I said, I haven't been with my cards for a while because I've had people at the house. Alright. Let's try this. Do that. That. Just do 4, 5, 5. Alright, one more. Let's see how this goes. Okay, we have the 7 of Cups, the King of Pentacles, the 9 of Swords. I don't know why that took me so long to figure that out. The 9 of Wands, and the Hermit. Interesting. So there's So there's kind of a lot of heaviness, I would say, here with the 9 of Wands and the 9 of Nine of Swords. Those are some quite heavy energies to be facing. And honestly, the Seven of Cups isn't necessarily like, it doesn't have to be heavy, but it can certainly be heavy, because it can be a lot of like a rumination, a lot of like thinking you need to make decisions, a lot of like why, maybe like feeling like there's some like filling up of yourself that's necessary, because like in this card, this person's like in shadow, so at first it could be like these are all different aspects of themselves that they're trying to like integrate. It could also mean all these like different decision points. It could be a bunch of different pathways things could go. Honestly, that's sort of what it's feeling like for this specific spread, is that there's a lot of different ways things could go, and there's a lot of indecision. And that's really like keeping you up at night. And it might not actually be keeping you up at night, but it is like running in your head all the time, so there's like kind of like a constant like churning of like, okay, what's gonna happen next, what should I do next, what do I do? There's a little bit of like self-sacrificing going on, maybe feeling bad for yourself, and being like, oh, a little bit like woe is me, I think, could be happening. And yeah, I think with the King of Pentacles here, I feel like there's some encouragement. I think there's maybe some need, or maybe there's some encouragement that or it could just be like what's the words I'm looking for? Maybe a reminder of some kind that like, even though all of these other things are going on, like you're okay as far as like your physical being and your access to resources. Like it might feel like things are really like up in the air, but that is solid and is going to continue to be solid for you. And so I think you don't need to stress about that along with everything else. It certainly feels like there's some encouragement to go inward or continue going inward. If you've kind of been in this path, and not inward in the sense of continuing to keep ruminating like the Nine of Wands, or Nine of Swords, but to go inward, whether that be on your spiritual path, I would say that's probably mostly what it is, and to really like keep these things, I mean, yeah, maybe in a sense it is keep it to yourself. I think it's also just like put yourself to work in the study, in the practice, in the continuing to like do the thing, right? Whatever the thing may be. And it feels like maybe you don't exactly know, but what the Hermit tells us is through study, through devotion, through isolation, not full, like, isolation in the sense of like you're committing yourself to doing this thing on your own. Doesn't mean you have to go into the wilderness and be totally alone, but it just means that like you're acknowledging like, okay, this is the thing that I'm doing, I'm going to continue to devote myself to it. So yeah, I mean, it feels like there's definitely like some things churning. There's definitely like some difficulties coming up for you, and there's definitely some decision points. I think, yeah, definitely the King of Pentacles is reminding you that like you're gonna be okay, whatever those decisions are. You're gonna be okay, and you're capable of making them, and you're capable of integrating these different aspects of yourself. But it's gonna like take some time, and it's gonna take some time with you really doing the work, doing if that's a meditation practice, you consistently sitting, if that's yoga, you consistently practicing whatever the, or if it's like some sort of like a cold magical thing, like doing the thing, doing spell crafting, reading the text, like actually you sitting down and doing the thing. So that's like definitely the encouragement here. All right, cool. That is pile 1. Let's move on to our pile 2. We'll see if this one needs to pop out. I mean, hey, that didn't pop out, but it certainly did pop out in a way. Just not in the way I was expecting it to, but that's okay. All right, this is our true craft. Any messages for pile 2? Any messages for pile 2? Messages, reminders. Do we have for pile 2? These are just 4 or 5. Just been doing 5 lately. Or 6. Okay, let's do that. All right, so we got the world, 9 of swords again, Ace of swords, the high priestess, interesting, 7 of wands. I feel like I've seen this card in this deck before. And the 8 of discs. I haven't seen this card either in the deck before. So that's interesting. Huh, okay. So 9 of swords again. So definitely a lot of in your headness, but I also do think the Ace of Swords right after is sort of coming out of that a little bit. There's a beginning and maybe a that cycle is ending a little bit, and maybe you're beginning it again with a little bit more capabilities, I would say. Like maybe you're beginning that cycle again with some more wisdom as far as that air energy goes. And then we have High Priestess, and that could be like beginning some sort of spiritual path or continuing a spiritual path, finding a teacher. I think it's also just like really embodying that like badass, feminine, witchy, magical energy, which feels like she's also kind of doing that in this card. She's like literally just standing there and these wands are in her shield and she seems very nonchalant about it. So there sort of feels like this essence in this specific deck in this card of like like handling your shit, you know? Like it definitely feels like yeah, like there's a lot of things that are on fire that are flying towards you and you're very capable of dealing with that. And so I think there's a reminder for you, especially with this 9 of swords, like you've kind of been going through it. I think there's just a reminder that like you're very capable. And that's been coming up a lot, I think. Just this like, yeah, I think a lot of things can feel um, really heavy, rightly so. And there also is a reminder that like you're very capable of handling heaviness and transmuting that energy, and like taking it, right, like she's not being stabbed by these things, she's taking it into this shield, and so she's like, yeah, she's protected, in essence. And so, yeah. And then the Eight of Discs is interesting too, because it's like painting and putting these on this tree, but totally covered, totally shrouded. And then there's a spider in this cool tree. Um, I do think there is maybe, what first came to me is like practice your gifts in secret. Like you don't need to like display the things you're working on to like people don't need to know about it. You can just do it privately, and just do it for the sake of doing it. So I think there's some encouragement there. Like if you've maybe let some hobbies fall to the wayside that you really enjoy doing, do them. Yeah, just get out there and do the thing that you like doing, or start something new that you've been thinking about trying, and don't worry about talking about it. I think sometimes when you talk about something too soon, or you try and put it out in the world too soon, the motivation to continue pursuing it kind of leaves you. So I think keep it to yourself. That's kind of what in the last reading there was the Hermit. So I think there's maybe a theme here of like, yeah, don't show it to the world, right? We had the World card and then the Nine of Swords right after. So maybe there's like some encouragement to like keep these things internal. They don't need to be shared with the world in this moment. I think it's a time of, for you, pile two, it's like a time of like refining these things for yourself, and like really discovering where your strengths are, and really discovering your awakened self, I guess I want to say. So yeah, there we have that. Cool. We're cruising through these today. Not on purpose, but just we are. Let's say 1750. Sorry, I always write down the time stamps after, because it makes my life easier. Pile 3 is Modern Witch. This little coconut ring, I think. Messages for pile 3. What messages do we have for those? Who picked pile 3? Oh, goodness. You're a little bit tired, pile 3. Or maybe I'm just a little bit tired. I feel like these cards are kind of like, well, they're just not wanting to pop out as much today. How many is that? 3? Okay, that's fine. Alright, any more? Okay, that's Ace of Swords. The Fool. Page of Pentacles. Seven of Cups. Oh, I haven't heard it today too. And the King of Swords. Yeah, this doesn't feel quite as... Excuse me, gosh. This doesn't feel like quite as heavy as the other two did. I feel like there's like... there's movement in those two, but this feels like there's a lot more like... movement and exploration without quite the like, oh, what's gonna happen here? But there's definitely still like it feels like a lot of beginnings, right? Like the Ace of Swords, the Fool, and the Page of Pentacles, right? Like you're at the beginning of something, right? So there's definitely a new thing happening, and it also feels like you don't know what that is, so that's super fun for us. So yeah, you're definitely at the beginning of a journey, and honestly, with the Seven of Cups in this right now in this instance, it's feeling like there's all the possibilities still, right? Like you haven't narrowed in on something. Like there's still so many possibilities, right? So this could be maybe like a career thing, I'm thinking slightly because of the King of Swords. That feels like maybe there's some a like masculine figure in your life who you could be looking to for maybe some advice or some guidance, or maybe there's a mentor that this card could be making you think of, and that's who could help you on this journey, because it definitely feels like you're on at the beginning of a journey with the Fool, the Page of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords at the beginning, and we have this Ace of Swords at the beginning, the King of Swords at the end. So it does feel like there's a nice little bookends here. But yeah, you're certainly starting something, and I think that there is definitely a necessity to come to the table with this like beginner's mind energy that the Fool brings. Be the Fool, allow yourself to totally like move forward with all of these questions hanging in the balance of not knowing where it's going to end up, and letting your heart guide you, letting your desires guide you. And the Page of Pentacles could be a clue, I think, of some kind. I'm just thinking that because like there's the city in the background, that maybe she's obviously got the coins, and maybe like deciding on a big move could be the potential here. But it could also be career. I feel like career or move is probably what it likely is for this group. And there's definitely, I would definitely seek some guidance from a male figure, or not even, he doesn't, like that person is, who knows, non-binary. So I would just say maybe someone who like kind of embodies this like, but it could also just be a different aspect of yourself, like all things. Let's see if we can get another card. No, that's not helpful. Nine of Wands. No. Huh. No. Yeah, I know that's not super clear, but it also doesn't seem like it just feels like you're kind of like at this beginning point, and there's just so many decisions and possibilities before you that there kind of isn't any clarity, and the only thing to do is to begin, really. The only thing to do is to start walking, take a step forward, and if things start to align, then keep taking steps forward. If you take a step forward and then you hit all this resistance and things aren't working out, then take a step back and try a different route. It feels like, yeah, I think like, yeah, I feel like that's a good way to go about it, is to just take a step and see what unfolds after you actually take an action. So yeah, that's what I would encourage you, this group, for sure. So yeah, we'll end it there. Yeah, if you like this video, like it please, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want a one-on-one reading, my email is in the description, so you can just shoot me an email, and we can schedule that. Otherwise, yeah, catch you in the next one.